Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea for our daily precious metals updates that we do Mondays through Fridays. Who am I? I'm Brian Kuzmar. Just told you that. And I've been in the same location since 1995. I'm a second generation rare coin and precious metals dealer. I've been fighting the front lines of buying and selling real gold bars and silver bars and rare coins since 1977. Started working for my family business. I've been in South Florida ever since. I'm in Lauderdale by the Sea right now. In fact, this is the LBTS live camera right here. A little wavy out there. It's not showing the pier right now, but what a beautiful morning it is. Going to be hot, though. What a hot weekend we had. It's almost 80 right now, and it's not even quite 9 o'clock. Well, going to be a quick show today. Need to do a few things here, so I got to head out early. But my thumbnail, exactly what it meant right here. Buy when there's blood in the streets, even if the blood is your own. Well, the reason I brought this thumbnail up and the reason that I'm bringing up Baron Rothschild's quote here is because I think that, I've been saying it for some time, and I know a broken clock is right at least, what do they say, once a day or twice a day? But right twice a day at least. I'm in the strong belief that we got to be getting close to the end of this bull market and equities and the housing market and the dollar. I mean, my gosh, it's like, anyone remember that game where, I forget what it was called, it was like a time bomb. I might be dating myself again, but it was like a plastic, it wasn't a real bomb, it was a time bomb. You wound it up, and it had like a ticker on it, and then something it would blow up. You'd throw it to your friends, and whoever got caught with it last lost the game. And you'd keep rotating this bomb around, winding it up and rotating it. I forget the name of it, but that's kind of what it feels like right now. It's just moving that bomb around, and everybody's waiting for, when is it going to explode? The thing is you don't want it to explode in your hands. Be prepared for this stuff. I mean, the writing's on the wall. It's going to happen. The question is when. That's always the big question. When is always a big question. But again, the opportunity exists. If you plan this correctly, there will be a giant equity and stock and bond crash. And I'm going to tell you something that most of you probably going to, your jaws might drop, a few of you that know me, but I have a feeling that once this market crashes, it'll be a global crash. It'll make 2008 look like a cakewalk, in my opinion. I mean, all they've done is band-aided up the dam, which was about to bust in 2008. In fact, it did bust. I don't know how they did it, but they pulled it off. They put enough band-aids on that dam to get it to hold water still. And actually, funny enough, they put enough band-aids on it to get it to hold more water, 10 times as much water. So now we've got a dam that's even backed up further that was never fixed, and they keep adding band-aids to it. At what point does the whole thing implode or explode, whatever you want to call it, on us all? And again, that's the point of my video here. Oh, I was going to tell you what I was going to do too. When there's blood in the streets, I am going to get into the equity market. I'm going to buy stocks and bonds, and I'm going to buy good stocks, and I'm going to buy good bonds. I'm going to buy good investments, maybe even housing, because I think housing is going to take a giant dump as well. It'll probably be across the board on everything. I think the writing's on the wall. We all know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. But gosh, it just feels so damn close to me. And what do they say? I'm going to buy stocks and bonds. Because gold and silver is going to go right through the roof during this time, during the times of economic uncertainty, during times when people don't know where to put their money, and we're already starting to see that. People are going to put their money in precious metals. Precious metals is going to bubble at some point. It did in 2011. That didn't bubble, maybe. I think it got kicked down, manipulated down. But precious metals will even hit a bubble at some point. And when it gets so high, you know what I'm going to do? Hopefully, stock, equities, real estate, and all that stuff will be so low, it'll get the crap kicked out of it, that I'll trade off some of my precious metals, and I will buy the low on equities and on real estate and that kind of thing. So that's kind of what I'm planning on. I've got a plan in place for this economic collapse. And the plan is hanging on to my gold and silver, waiting for that to go up, not getting too greedy with it, and when I see the opportunity to buy equities and other things, when I see some good deals out there, I'm going to be in a good cash position to buy them. And that's what I'm kind of telling you right now too, is use gold and silver as a means to get somewhere. And what I mean by that is, gold and silver will bubble at some point. At some point, we're going to see it go way to hell up. It'll get into territories that everyone will have a smile on their face because they're making so much money. But at that point, everything else will have taken a dump, hopefully. Stocks, bonds, equities, real estate. And again, that's the time and that's the opportunity to take the money out of gold and buy some of those other investments. I know I'm a big gold and silver guy, but there's other ways to make money in wealth preservation as well. The whole key is buy low, sell high. Well, let's take a look at some articles here on ZH. I got to get this one done quick, and I do apologize today. I've got some errands I've got to run here shortly. And futures near record high shake off yelling comments, brace for inflation data. And again, this is exactly what I've been talking about. Futures near record high. They shake off Yellen comments. I mean, oh boy. The slightly softer than expected rise in U.S. payroll employment in May probably won't change the Fed's thinking, but another pickup in CPI inflation likely to be reported. And the CPI is full of nonsense. But anyways, the market's just shaking off all this bad news, and the enthusiasm is just unwarranted, in my opinion. And at some point, we are going to see a major crash here. This is kind of cool, if not funny. Jeff and his brother will be the first humans in space next month. That has nothing to do with precious metals, but I just found it funny. And really, there's not too much here in ZH here. And again, remember, ZH is not, they don't write all this stuff. It's like it's a hub where different writers, different bloggers, and different news places will congregate. It's kind of a place you can, again, this is not all written by this ZH people. These are different articles by different people, and we'll get into that right now. Not too much to talk about in the news. However, gold fix weekly, Basel III, Russian dollar drop, and silver shortages. This was kind of cool little article. Again, it's in ZH. It's done by Vince Lancey. I like Vince's stuff. Vince writes some good stuff. Make sure you read this today. Gold fix weekly, Basel III. More or less, he talks about price action summary, open interest, bonds. He's talking about bonds here, the U.S. dollar. And again, all of this stuff has a big effect on gold. He talks about gold. Precious metal got slammed Thursday. Post the optimistic ADP number, which if proven accurate had implied more stimulus going forward. After an Asian swan dive that evening, gold recouped most of its losses from Thursday to finish the week slightly lower. That's because Friday's payroll number was disappointing. So I think it's up a little. We'll get to that in a minute here, what the prices are right now. Silver was down in the week last week too. I guess, we know that stuff, so I'm not going to read this to you. We already know it was down. If you're listening to my show, I'm sure you are watching precious metal prices every day, if not more than a few times a day. News takeaways. This is kind of what I wanted to read. Interesting. Russian wealth fund to ditch all U.S. assets for gold, euros, and the yuan. The de-dollarization, and again, I talked about this last week, and we've been talking about this for over the year, how our politicians, our wonderful politicians in the United States, have weaponized the U.S. dollar against all these countries. At one time, everyone loved the U.S. dollar. That's why we had the Bretton Woods Agreement. The whole world agreed that they would use the silver dollar, the dollar, even if they hated us, and they did. Russians back in the 70s during the Cold War, they loved to hold dollars, even though it was illegal for them to do so. But we weaponized it. Our politicians have weaponized the dollar. We've become really big dicks, assholes out in the world community, more or less, big bullies. That's, here's the result of it. Russia's saying, hey, listen, screw you, we're not going to hold dollars. China at some point is going to do the same thing, trust me, if they're not doing it already. The problem is that China just realizes that they can take themselves down if they completely de-dollarize, but Russia's way past that right now. Russia's had been hit with so many sanctions and stuff that they're creating their own system. They won't need the dollar. And that's sad. That's sad that our politicians have done this. But again, this is something we've been talking about for a year now, and I digress. Takeaway number one, buy gold, sell dollars. That's what the Russians have been doing. Takeaway number two, it's political posturing prior to the Putin-Biden meeting on June 16. It's about sanctions and threats. And again, that's what we've been talking about. Net. No immediate pronounced reaction. But the more this is echoed, the less comfortable shorts will become. But we've seen the headlines for years. These are reasons to be less net short. If you're not a bank, not long, glacier-like secular trend is buy gold, sell dollars. Well, that's pretty damn obvious, The writing is on the wall here. There will be blood in the streets, and it'll be caused by the U.S. dollar collapse. Note to self, nothing new. Basel III rules come close to be put in place. And takeaway number one: bullish long term and short term. So they're thinking that this is going to be a good bull run, and that's coming up real soon. But you know what? I think Basel III, the market's kind of already played into it a little bit, perhaps. But I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if markets take off immediately after the introduction of the Basel III agreement. Takeaway three: if delayed, throttled, or otherwise slowed again, it's very bearish short term. Oh, well, I guess it's not done for sure because we're not at the 28th. But let's see what happens. Don't buy a price spike naked. Don't sell weakness unless exiting longs. Again, getting into different things. U.S. Mint offers point of clarification. We talked about that last week. The U.S. Mint said they were short silver. That's bullshit. They were short the blanks provided by the refiners, so they couldn't make the blanks for their collector coins. So I'm not quite sure why he feels that that's bullish in every way. I think that was kind of a nonsense reason. And again, we talked about that last week. He's got some good technical analysis here. And JP Morgan reports investors are banning Bitcoin and going back to gold as crypto deteriorates. I kind of believe that. I think that that you're going to see a lot of people that went into cryptos are going to be very disappointed because of the manipulation and the whales in that market. And again, highly unregulated. And again, it's digital. There's nothing that's physically owned. The nice thing about gold and silver is you can physically own it. It's in your hands, and you've taken it off the market as well. Unless someone wants to go mine it themselves, they're pretty much screwed. They got to buy it. Geez, sorry about that. Let's take a look at, again, not too much in news today. Spot prices. I'm going to do a quick reset here. My coin said a bull market today, and looks like it isn't. Looks like the coin is wrong today. So again, we do the coin for fun in the morning. It's just a fun thing, but scarily enough, it was like pretty correct it has been pretty damn correct. I'm not going to jinx it. I'm going to keep using the coin. So, but we are down to today, and the coin did say we're going to have a bull market. So let's see what happens at the end of the day. Maybe it'll go up higher today. 1886. Did I just refresh it? I think I did. I did a refresh. 1886 ranges since last night. Market open last night. Overnight markets 1885, 1887. Very range bound there. Same thing with silver, 2761 to 2765, and platinum still a great buy at that sub $1,200 level. This sideways level is kind of very interesting. It was been sideways last week, sideways today. One of the writers on one of these blogs had mentioned that perhaps this is kind of a bullish sign, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure what's happening, but I do know that it provides a great opportunity to buy gold at sub $2,000 level if possible, and it provides, and you can definitely buy gold at sub $2,000 if you're buying the right product and not paying too much of a premium, which I recommend. And silver, again, below that $28 mark. Here's my guess: is once we blow through this 1900, 1950 range, actually, I think we're going to blow through 2,000. Once we've blown through $2,000 gold, and once we've blown through $30 silver, and platinum, again, I don't even know what platinum's doing. It's kind of doing its own thing lately. It's moved on its own path here. It looks like. Look, it's up actually. Take a look at it. So I believe once we move past $2,000 and $30 gold, the sky is pretty much the limit at this point. Keep stacking at these levels, and I think you'll do well. GATA.org, couple articles out there. Basel III's approach tightens gold supply in London, McGuire says, and I didn't really get into let me take a quick read here while I'm with you. I read this earlier, but I kind of forgot what it said. Basel III regulations are unallocated draws near. Bullion Trader says, Andrew McGuire says in his weekly interview, let's see what he says real quick. The manipulated smashes of gold prices on the eve of future market options expirations are becoming less effective. And I think he's right about this. McGuire says with price bouncing back quickly amid heavy demand for real metal. McGuire cites the recent commentary about Hugo Salinas Price of the Mexican Civic Association for Silver to the effect that Russia and China are coordinating the links between their currencies and gold in an effort to strike at the hegemony of U.S. dollar. I believe that's correct, and I don't think I pronounced that correctly. So sorry. I know what these words are. I just never. Anyway, my apology. God, and where do I go from there? Well, we talked about that article with Hugo last week, and Hugo said the same thing that I've been thinking not even thinking. I've been saying this, and I started out the show saying this, is the weaponization of the U.S. dollar by moronic politicians and government officials in our country. If you want to thank someone for destroying the dollar, thank our government. thank the Federal Reserve, the politicization, thank the Federal Reserve, number one, in a fiat currency, and thank our politicians for destroying the dollar and destroying our life kind of as the way we know it. Assholes. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. So anyways, this is exactly what's going on. Russia and China are saying, screw the dollar, we don't need it. And guess where all those dollars are going to go, folks? They're going to come back to us. So you don't want to own dollars. You don't want to own dollar-denominated assets. Right now, I think gold and silver are the best thing to own, in my opinion. And cryptos will get theirs too. Once the dollar starts tanking big time, I'm sure some money will start flowing into cryptos. But again, I don't trust them. I think it's a great way to make money, a lot of money. It's gambling like Las Vegas. If you know what you're doing, I think you can do well. But again, as a storage of wealth and as a wealth preservation, I'm not a big fan of cryptos. Any moment, a big whale can jump out of it and just cause you to lose all your money. I don't see that happening with gold, so to speak. Let's take a look at, well, gosh, I got through the articles here, and I said this needed to be a quick one, and it is today, folks. Appreciate you watching. As I said, I do beat, I'm a local dealer down here, and I do beat APMEX, JM Bullion, and SD Bullion. I beat all their prices on gold and silver, so if you're local, come in and deal with me. Those are the top 3 guys online, and of course, I'll beat the local guys as well. What's the best deals out there right now as far as product goes? Well, best deals out there, oh, I didn't put up my best deal page. Best deals out there are still any products in silver that you can pay less than a $6 per ounce premium. If you're paying more than $6 per ounce premium for any silver products, you are overpaying. Maybe a great product, but you are overpaying. Ideally, you want to be in the $4 to $5 range at the most. But again, you may not have that option, and it is tougher to get silver in that $4 to $5 range right now. Again, pay less than $6. If you're paying more than $6 an ounce premium on silver, you're paying too much. As far as gold goes, pay less than $100 an ounce premium. If you're paying over $100 an ounce premium on any gold products, no matter how great they are, even buying American Eagles, you're paying too much. You need to be paying under $100 an ounce, and ideally, I think you need to be in that $65 to $85 range per ounce when buying gold. That's the best deals out there, and there's good recognizable products out there for that. Yesterday's show, Friday's show. Appreciate you all watching, and if you're still watching right now, make sure you hit this like button here on this video and subscribe. I really appreciate that. It helps me out. Can't go over too many questions here, but a lot of comments on my show on Friday. And Inspector Jason says, do you think gold will go up to $2,500 by year end? It's all about timing, as we've been talking about at the beginning of the show, Inspector Jason. You know what? If not this year, I feel it's next year. But again, I'm really reticent about picking specific times like that. But I can see $2,500 gold easily. Just don't know exactly when. I kind of like you do, or like you don't. We're in the same book here. Question, do you think there's an actual worldwide silver shortage? I do. I sincerely do overall. I think that an uptick in silver usage industrial-wise and an uptick in investor usage of silver, and mining has kind of got its ass kicked in 2020, that you could see a big shortage. And don't forget, a lot of silver is thrown away in landfills. Not many people talk about this. We've done a few shows on this. A lot of silver is thrown away in landfills, not to be recovered probably ever, or not in our lifetimes for sure. Remember all the electronics that use silver? Thrown away. A lot of it's thrown away. It's not recovered. So yeah, I do believe there's an actual worldwide shortage of silver overall, and I think it could be a bad thing. At what point silver is used in electrical connections? It's used in electronics. Could a country like the United States say silver is a strategic important metal? We're going to fix the price, or you can't buy or sell it anymore. I always worry about that. It's a possibility. Again, it just depends on how drained physical silver sources get. Thanks for watching. Hey, Don, what's up? Appreciate you watching. Consummation of Basel occurs January 1st, 2022. That's true. I think 28th is when I guess they put it in effect for January 1st, but I guess it, now what's it officially kind of going to June 28th? I'm not quite sure what the deal is. Thanks for commenting, Don. I appreciate it. Buy local, yeah, for sure. Great Britain, hey, go find yourself a good local dealer in Britain. Sure, they're all out there, man. Mark, I use their manipulation to advantage. Exactly. great vid. Gosh dang, Monkey Hammer. I hate the Monkey Hammers too. So, but again, Monkey Hammer. If it wasn't for Monkey Hammer, we wouldn't get the great opportunities to buy the dips. I'd like to thank all you folks for watching here. Again, I've got to go here very shortly, so I'm going to. John Smith. Someone asked me about goldbacks, and his thought in goldbacks. I keep hearing about the Fed coming out with a digital currency and having them. Bitcoin has a bit to offer, but can Fed control. I see goldbacks as an asymmetrical bet. I'm not familiar with goldbacks. So I got to be honest with you. What is a goldback? John, you got me by surprise. I don't know. I'll take a look when I get back from my errand today later. And if you remember, make a comment on today's video, and I'll try to get back to it. The penniless dreamer, I use silver as a savings account. Great idea. I spend cash, but involved hassle of cashing my silver, stopping and spending it. That's true. I've noticed too that sometimes if there's a little difficulty, it makes it a lot harder to go down and buy that new motorcycle that you wanted or whatever it is you're buying. You know, and I don't want to cash it in. I'll keep. But anyway, that is a good way to save money too. Lucky when it says I'm right about saying you don't want someone, no matter how good you are, holding my money or metal. That's true. You know, it's third-party risk. I mean, even my own mother, if I gave her all my stuff and she hid it, buried it in the backyard or buried it, whatever, I told Mom, hold my gold. What happens if something happens to Mom? I mean, you know, my gold's gone. So, you know, the whole idea is to not incur that third-party risk. And I don't mean, you know, if you had your money with your mother, she'd probably tell you where she hid it. So, I mean, that's not really the issue. But you got my point. Anything can happen to even people you trust dearly. So, you know, my point is physically have it yourself, and make sure that if you hide it, that you tell someone you trust where you hid it. Again, that's the whole point of owning metals. The market is rigged, but I would say gold and silver tied strongly to the Dow because of the ETFs. Boy, that's pretty technical. I really can't get into that, Mark, but I appreciate you watching, Mr. Marks. Metals are riding the same way as Dow, but the whole idea of owning precious metals is to be opposed to the Dow. I don't know if metals are riding the same way as the Dow. I don't really believe they are. I think once the Dow and everything takes a dump, you're going to see a completely different reaction in metals. Thanks for watching, Todd. Celtic Knot looks like Basel III only impacts Europe. I think they could roll out Basel III in the USA next year, 2022. My understanding is that Basel III impacts all the central banks, and again, I guess I better read that a little more closely, and that COMEX and London are going to be affected by this greatly. And the penniless dreamer, hey, thanks for watching, guys. Hey, Michael, what's up? I like this. John says, I hate my state, so I use JM Bullion. I get it. There's some awful states out there, sir, and so I get that completely. But still, you know, it's really not about your state. It's really about the people that live around you, you know, your neighbors and your friends and your family. So that's kind of what I'm advising right there. Well, that's really about it. The option watch, make no mistakes, China has 47 tons of gold. No one can actually figure out the amount of silver they have. So gold and silver is not what they will buy. What they do not need is U.S. dollars. And again, you hit it right on the mark there, option watch. De-dollarization, which is not good for the United States, which is going to be probably really good for precious metals. Well, that's really about it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime between the hours of 10 a.m. 4 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. I'm a brick and mortar store only, so I only deal locally. So if you're out of my area, unfortunately, I can't deal with you. But as I've always said, buy local, man. Try to buy local if you can. Support your local businesses. It's real important. Even if you hate your state and you hate the people that run your state, you know, it's really all about keeping that money in your community and helping friends, family, and your neighbors out. Well, hey, thanks again for watching, folks. Y'all have a great day. I'll get back and do a little bit longer show tomorrow and go over some more details. Again, like I said, I got to run out early today. Thanks again for watching, and talk to you soon. Let's see what happens today.